Sure.
Hi, well, it's been 2 weeks now since we've started to teach Casey, and now I'd like to reflect upon, what we've been doing in the second week. It's been 10 days now of teaching Casey, and I wanted to update you on all of the things that have been happening over the last 5 weeks. As I said in the previous week, I'm only showing you little snippets of the sort of programming that we're doing. Hopefully, as we go over the number of weeks, we might come back and look at some specific areas, a bit more like what we've been doing with him socially, some things we've been doing with his play, or other kind of programs. But I can't share so many videos in each episode, or you'll all get very bored and go to sleep. So one of the things we've been working on in the last 5 days is we've been continuing to work on those communication temptation activities, where we've been setting up opportunities for him to make lots of requests, be spontaneous and initiative, and really use his speech. Really critical. He really finds the sort of power of language in the sessions. So things have been a bit more advanced this week. I got a few videos, 3 videos for you to see. The first one is a video of him just doing a coloring activity. He really likes coloring. So we've set it up so that there's different colored circles that he has to color in with different colored pencils. And he needs to request them for Ivy, and he needs to use a full sentence using attributes and a sentence stem and an object. But in addition to that, Ivy sort of plays with him a little and sometimes gets the wrong one, and he has to comment on that and say, oh, not that one, and then reinstate kind of which one it is he wanted. Let's have a look at that.
Blue crayon. Okay.
Not this one.
Oh, not this one. All right.
Blue crayon.
Blue crayon. Here you go. Okay, you need to hold the crayon like this. Yeah.
Brown crayon.
Brown crayon. Here you go.
Not this one.
Oh, silly Ivy. Here you go.
Not this one.
Oh my goodness. Brown one. This one? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, here's another sort of similar activity. We also figured out over the last week, he really loves drawing. So we've been doing a lot of drawing kind of activities where we're drawing things and he's watching us. So this is an activity we developed where he's got to kind of tell us what to draw and tell us to rub it out. And also sometimes we make mistakes about what we draw. So let's take a look at that one.
What the banana?
Yeah, that's not the donut. That's the banana.
Draw the donut.
Draw the donut, okay. Donut.
No.
No, that's the bow, huh?
What the boat?
Like the bow, sure. Casey.
Draw the donut.
Donut.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the donut.
Okay, the last one was a very silly activity to do with cups, where we were hiding things under cups, but it incorporates quite a few different sentences that he needs to use. He's got to tell us, where to put the things. He's got to tell us to turn the cups over. He's got to have us shuffle them up and then, choose which ones to pick up. So there's quite a few different sentences he has to use quite flexibly in this activity, which is a bit more complicated.
Give me the ice cream. Thank you. Okay, now give me the cabbage. I love how you're being so quiet, buddy. All right, give me the eggplant. Nice job, my friend. All right, now let's set it up.
Close the cup. Close the cup.
Close your yellow cup.
Close the yellow cup.
All right, close your yellow cup.
Close the pink cup.
Pink cup, all right.
Close the blue cup.
Sure.
Now shuffle.
Shovel! Shovel, shovel, shovel.
Open the yellow cup.
Open yellow cup. Ta-da!
Ah!
What's that?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, you're right.
Open the blue cup.
Blue cup. Ta-da!
Nah!
What do we found?
Cabbage.
Cabbage, very nice.
Open your pink cup.
Ta-da!
As you can see, as last week, we're maintaining some really good engagement in the activities and lessons. He's really enjoying the work he's doing there in terms of learning a lot of those phrases. And he's been learning really quick, I've got to say. I mean, he's really rapid at picking up the information we're providing to him in the sessions. I mean, he's here all day. but really he's a lightning learner, which has been amazing to see. Okay, another thing we wanted to introduce is that we wanted to teach him some very basic routines. Routines can be a very important thing to teach a student because it really relates to some awareness. You know, aware that, oh, I've arrived in a place and there are some things I need to do when I get to that place. And then I have to do those things, and that may mean I've got to stay on task to complete them. Sometimes the routines aren't really that beneficial. For example, you know, I've got to put my bag away and get my things out and put them in certain places. You know, that doesn't really result in anything that meaningful. It's just things you've got to do every day. So I like to teach students routines as it increases their independence, it increases their awareness. And so we wanted to teach Casey routines. We taught him 3 routines. One is what to do when he arrives in the morning. Another routine was a snack routine when it was time for him to have a break and a snack, and he had to go and get all of his things and bring them out and go to a certain place in the play area to eat. And another routine was when he was going to get to go home and he has to pack all his things away in his bag and get ready to go home. As you saw in the first video, he's really into reading and loves to read. So we decided to try to use the reading as in this program to try to help him to remember what the sequence of the routine was. So we basically wrote out the steps for the routine so that he could remember it more easily. This was like on, I think, the first or second day of us teaching him the routine, and you'll see Ray listing out the steps that he has to follow.
Put on school bag. Okay? So let's try one time. I will put this here to remind you.
Okay, so this is him towards the end of the second week, and he's now really good. And you'll notice we're still having to provide some assistance. There's a table in the room, which means the items are still more accessible, but we've faded the board, we've faded the words. You can hear him kind of reciting to himself a little the words that he knows is in the sequence, but he's quite independent in terms of getting the routine done. Let's have a look.
Go pack up.
Number 1. Put water in your bag. Open your bag. Number 2. Back. Yay! Yes! Help me do that.
Help me put on the school bag. Okay.
So I hope we'll be able to fade those routines into the normal sort of sequence of the day quite quickly. He's been doing well with the other 2 routines also, so that would be great to see him more independent during the lessons. Okay, as you saw in the first week, we were spending a lot of our time teaching object labels. We've been moving on to other kinds of concepts this week, and we spent a lot of time on verbs. We're identifying all kinds of different action words that he may or may not know and been teaching them in some, you know, similarly kind of fun activities. The activity you'll see next is a sort of activity around action words and him labeling those actions. Again, we've got a big field now. There's many cards on the table. He's got to pay very close attention. He's also got to initiate the activity with the therapist. You'll know she doesn't always give verbal instructions. She just moves and points at things. The reason she does that is because he's got to pay a lot more attention. He doesn't just need to listen to what she says, but he's also got to follow where her fingers are and really watch what's happening in the activity. Let's have a look at that.
Kissing, that's right. What about this one?
Walking.
Walking, very good. What's going on here?
Running.
Running, you're right.
Okay, one last activity we were doing around verbs is that we noticed at the beginning of last week that he wasn't very good at following different kinds of instructions that related to verbs. Christy did an evaluation with him at the beginning of last week that I'd like to show you to recap.
Kick the ball.
Kick. Kick ball. Kick.
Okay. Hang on.
Hang on.
Can you point to the ball? All right. right. Last one. We're gonna roll the ball.
So as you can see from that video, when she gives those kind of instructions like point, and he doesn't really seem to know what to do when we ask him to do that. So we really wanted to have a program that would teach him to understand those key words, because they come up a lot in instructions, and how he can respond to those appropriately. So we set up an activity. Again, it was around animals because he likes animals, but he was learning how to point and shake and do all kinds of different operations with those animals. So let's take a look at that.
Give the zebra a hug. Oh, that's so sweet, my friend. Thank you. All right. Squeeze the crab. Beautiful, my friend. All right, give me the fish. Thank you. All right. Throw the sheep. Nice, buddy. All right, point to the turtle. Nice pointing. Say tiger.
So as you can see, he's learned a lot of things again in the last 5 days, which has been wonderful. We've developed a whole load of new programs for next week as we really start to branch out and start to work in other areas and dimensions. So I hope you guys will tune in to find out how he's going to do in the next 5 days. And I hope you've been enjoying watching how he's been doing. Thank you very much.